Hey guys, I'm back with another thought video. Some things I've been thinking about recently. This one I've been thinking about a little longer than the last one by a couple days, so you really know it's had time to sink in. So, this idea that I want to talk about, these thoughts, have to do with the fact that I just went to an antique store and I bought a really old copy of all three Lord of the Rings books in the same book. And I was like, yes, like I need this because I've been planning on rereading um the books. I have not read them in many a year. So I figured it was time. It's been on my mind. I wanted to rewatch the movies and I thought, no, I need to reread the books first and maybe I'll reread one book, watch the movie, reread one book, watch the movie. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still debating how I want the layout and the format to go, but I do know I'm rereading them soon. But it got me thinking as I was thinking about the book and the characters and all these ideas and all of these themes that are presented to us from Tolkien, there's something that struck me as really interesting as I was watching this professor. His name evades me right now, but I will put it in the link in the description below to the video I was watching, and his name as well, if anybody wants to watch it. He talks about Gollum and Frodo, and how Gollum represents this character who is so wrapped up in their own worldliness, their own sin. And this is very obvious. I'm not saying anything profound here yet. And he's so wrapped up in all of his own stuff that he obviously becomes this creature that barely even looks human, barely even looks like a real person. And Frodo obviously goes head to head with Sam about trusting this individual. And time again, Gollum does not prove himself trustworthy because he keeps choosing bad over good. But Frodo sees something in him. That's the point. He sees something in him that is humanly. And even if it's a little sliver of humanity, he still sees it in him and still chooses time and time again to treat him as such. He doesn't, just kill him like, you know, um, yeah. He chooses time and time again to treat him with humanity and goodness. And even though in the end, and I think this is important, even though in the end Gollum chooses his own path over goodness, Frodo still does the right thing, which to many people is debated. This idea of treating somebody who time and time again has proven themselves not trustworthy and also doesn't really seem human. There's this quote by Marcus Aurelius, and I read this book when I read this book many fortnights ago. I had underlined in my book this specific paragraph because it really stuck with me, and it's still stuck with me all these years later. And that quote is, regarding your fellow human. And sometimes we decide to stand on a moral truth or on a moral high ground, and people make it really hard to stick to that because they're irritating or they're nasty to us, or like Gollum, they don't even seem to deserve it. And what Marcus Aurelius says in Meditations is, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and I've recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. Not of the same blood and birth, but of the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. And so none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness. Nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural, and to feel anger at someone, to turn your back on them, these are unnatural. And to continue this idea, I can't help but think into the Bible. When time and time again, Jesus is very obviously pointing out that who is our neighbor? Our neighbor is everyone. And how many times are we supposed to forgive somebody? Countless times. How many times are we supposed to prioritize active love? So many times. And so all these ideas together lead me to this notion of comfort, that the golems that I meet along the way are still just as people. We share the same nature of the divine. And I can't get upset. I can't get angry. If I've resolved myself to any form of goodness, truth, or beauty, I've resolved myself to it, and that's it. No matter how many things the world throws at me, I'm not going to stop acting like that, even when it's so hard, or even when I fail to do so. I'm going to get right back up on that horse and I'm going to ride it through. So when we meet people today, when we wake up in the mornings with all these different attitudes contrary to our own, I cannot be mad. I can't even be upset at them, because just like at one point I didn't know, they don't know. And this doesn't put you in a position of moral superiority, not at all, because at one point you were Gollum. We tend to put ourselves, myself included, in these very matured positions of identifying with, oh, like I've known so many Gollums in my life, like I'm just like Frodo because I've put up with so much. What about the time that you were Gollum? How many people, how many Frodos put up with you? How many Frodos time and time again chose to show you humanity, chose to show you comfort, chose to show you that no matter, even if you choose the ring in the end, they are not going to budge from that which they have resigned themselves to. Goodness, truth, or beauty. Anything fitting into these categories cannot change. And so you can rest easy in this idea of an almost passing along, because not only because I have been a Gollum at one point, will I recognize you when you're acting like that, and I will act as a Frodo in that moment, but also pairing it with this ideology that Marcus Aurelius brings, that even if you never get to the point of turning around, even if you don't ever do it for somebody else, I still will, because I can't be angry at my fellow man. I can't be angry at my brother or sister. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these things are unnatural, actually. And I think that is the real thing here. Those acts are unnatural. Even though they feel easy for us to indulge in, they're actually unnatural to our human nature. So there's some thoughts, like I put in the caption of my last video. If you disagree, if you have other things to add, if I missed something, these are just thoughts. So they're developing and they continue to develop. And I do think there is a lot of good in these thoughts. But I don't know everything. So tell me what you think. And I'll see you again when I have any more cohesive thoughts.